Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today at the plot, not only to have a coffee and to enjoy the peace and quiet on a Sunday, but I'm here to hopefully get a few jobs done. I do want to get the back bed cleared, ready for the winter. Everything in there's done now. I do want to do a bit of cleaning up around the place. As you can see, there's a lot of leaves, there's a lot of apples from the tree that I need to get along the back fence, because I've noticed we've got a lot of rats and they like to, I've seen them take the apples away. So yeah, just going to get on with that, get a few jobs done, show you what I'm doing, and hopefully if the weather stays dry, touch wood, I'll get a bit done today, so that's good. So before I get going, I got this a few years ago for camping, but I've actually never really used it. So I thought I'll crack it up inside the polytunnel, and hopefully, if it wants to come on, heat the polytunnel up enough so it's somewhere for me to be warm and enjoy a coffee. It also runs off the same gas canister as my cooker, so I won't need to be buying anything different to keep this going, so that's always a bonus. The thing that I wanted to share today was, this is one of the beds that I designated for Comfrey. Now it does grow all over this plot, it's all around my pond, it pops up between my paths, as you can see just there. Now this is quite invasive, I believe, and it is hard to get rid of. The roots do go down very far, but I'm going to leave this pallet here because it's got one of the bigger clumps in. Now it is great for fertilizer and attracting all those bees. It flowers really well, so hopefully in time, when I've got rid of all the bits that I don't want, I'll have this still to collect for my fertilizer, and also it looks nice when it starts to grow. So my first job today is to clear my squash and pumpkin bed. Now originally this was my potato bed. And they grew really well. They died. I put the squashes in, I put the pumpkins in. The pumpkins grew really well. I got quite a lot off of them. They were the mini baby boo pumpkins. But yeah, for now I need to just clear the bed, get it ready for the winter, and yeah, that's it, get on with it. So as you can see, I have weeded and took out all the dead in this bed. I did leave all the smaller weeds in, but I'm planning on covering it anyway with plastic, so they are all going to die over the winter. I did leave my bean structure in because I plan on, like I said before, saving some of these pods, hopefully to grow next year. The raspberry canes, I just tied it around the bottom up. I'm not going to do anything with these this year, I don't think. I'm going to see what the best way is to cut these, or if these are even meant to be cut. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure of the type, so that's a job for another day. But so far so good. One bed down. I've got 6 more, minus this one, to clear. I think one of my next jobs is the one with the cosmos in. That's going to be my next one, I think. Yeah, again, just a couple of nasturtiums in there, some dahlias, which I don't know, I'm planning on leaving over winter, see if possibly they'll come back next year. I'm not too sure. They grew really well anyway this year. So if they don't, I'll just probably replace the dahlias in the middle. Yeah, squashes, I don't think these are doing anything really. But yeah, this is bed number 2 that I'm going to tackle maybe the next time I'm down, because now I want to plant a few more bulbs, spring bulbs that I brought with me, and just do a bit of general maintenance around the plot, picking up these apples. Now you can see every time I come down I collect about the same amount. I don't believe it's really necessary, but like I said, with the amount of rats I've seen, I just want to minimise the amount of pest activity I have on the plot. And I think just by picking up the random apples that fall everywhere will minimise it a little bit, but it's something at least. You can see there's a lot of apples still left to be picked. Now I do want to pick some of the nicer cooking apples. I mean, they are still really good, and I have been making a lot of crumbles with these ones. Now these are just an edible one. I've been eating these as I've been going along, but again, these are really tasty. I might even fill up I've got an old shopping basket somewhere, and I might even fill some up and put them at the front of the plot for people to take. I know a lot of people do that. I've seen them leave the spare crops and potatoes over there, but for now, no more apples. And for anyone who wondering, the apples I pick up, I have been putting most of them along this back verge. Not sure I meant to, but it's food for animals, and they're only going to rot down anyway. There is one more thing I wanted to show you actually. There's my 2 beds that I put my green manure in a few weeks ago. Now this one is just purely red clover, and is starting to look like clover, minus all the leaves. A couple of chard and some succulent that my mum gave me, or should I say that I pricked out and stole. This bed is different. Now it does have red clover in, but it also has, I believe, ryegrass, and the smaller ones I think is mustard. Now, I mean, it could be the other way around, the smaller ones mustard, etc. This one is growing really well, quite fast. Still some questionable paw prints, but they don't seem to have got worse, so that's good. So yeah, I'm going to let this grow, chop it down at the end of the year or next year, whichever it tells me to do, and then dig it in. So this will be just my wildflower border to give me a boundary fence sort of thing. And then this one is, I'm unsure. I don't know whether to plant it like I did this bed with a few perennials, things that will grow back every year, buddleia, loganberries, things like that. Or do I grow things like rudbeckia, zinnias, maybe put a dahlia in there, make it more of a cut flower bed, ones that I can take home, give to my family and friends. I do have a fennel that a plot neighbour gave me, so that's just put there for now. I don't know if it's going to stay there or not. And a small pink buddleia, which I'm hoping to grow. Then obviously my grape, which I do believe next year it will cover this trellis, because I know it grows very fast. Might not give me grapes next year, so I won't be doing my wine business just yet, but for now it's something, and I'm actually looking forward to that growing and spreading down that trellis. It also gives me a nice walkway into the middle of my two plots. So yeah, roll on next year. Now my Brussels are worse for wear. They're quite strong plants, and I have seen pigeons, as you can see, resting on top. Now they are producing Brussels, all of them. And I do have, this is quite a small one, but over here I do have red Brussels. These are not looking that great. I think these are going to be composted. They are, yeah, they're done for, I think. But these, I'll maybe get a handful of Brussels. I don't eat Brussels myself, but I know people who do. Everything in this bed is going to be cut back over the next few weeks anyway, minus the Brussels. It's just getting destroyed. My kale, as much as I've ate, just keeps growing and keeps growing. And then chard. I'm surprised because they're not getting any taller. They seem to keep producing leaves over and over and over again. I don't know if they maybe shoot up at the end of the year, I don't know, but they're very small. So if anyone's got any comments on how to better grow some chard, let me know. I do have some in the other bed that I will show you. Now these ones seem a little better. Again, very small, very just surviving. I don't get it. Maybe I've done something wrong, maybe they need earlier in the year. I did plant them when they told me to plant them, so yeah, maybe chard is going to be something I attempt again next year. One thing I wanted to show you was my fruit tree area. Now I do have a long line of iris here. Now these flowered really well this year, and I'm hoping they're going to grow back next year. Along with the fruit bushes, this is full of daffodils, and there's alliums. There's some plants that I got cheap actually from a garden centre, along with my many foxgloves obviously. There's also a lot of hellebores that I noticed the other day are starting to gain a lot of new leaves, which I'm happy about, and they're flowering. There's, I think, maybe 5 or 6 left from the entire line I planted on both sides. So yeah, I'll see which ones come back. If they flower, I'll let you know. These are my foxgloves that I got from a Gardening World magazine. There's 3 here, and then there's the 3 at the bottom of my plot now. Now, 2 of these didn't flower. This one did, and it was one of the nicest foxgloves I've seen actually. Now, this one has got the different leaves, so next year this should flower. Fingers crossed, because that's the one that I was most looking forward to seeing this year. Didn't flower, but it's still doing well, so that's a bonus. Down here I do have I believe it's called a rose mallow. Yep, it's still alive. It has got a flower on it, but next year hopefully that's going to kick in and fill this space. I know they can grow quite tall, so that should give me something nice under here to look at, along with these nasty bleeders. These are gooseberries. Yeah, that's it. Very spiky, very dangerous. Catch my leg every time I walk down here, but they gave me the biggest gooseberries I've ever seen. I cut this back at the beginning of the year and it was just like a round stump, but it grew back like really well and gave me a lot of fruit on this. This was good in a apple crumble that I made. Very tart, very sour, but as soon as you bake them with all that sugar, this was a good one. So that will hopefully give me the same crop next year and do quite well. I did want to check my carrot bucket. This was a spare of the moment thing. I thought about growing some carrots for Christmas dinner, as everyone does. I'm not too sure what there is. I do have carrots growing, if you can see. Now this bucket is purely compost, no stones, nothing for them to get that weird shape they do when they come in contact with a stone. So hopefully I'll have some nice straight carrots. The size, unsure until I pull them out. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get some carrots. So another thing I did last year was along this back fence, I dug a trench and I filled it with wildflower seeds. There were poppies, nasturtiums, borage, cornflower. There was a big selection as you normally get. Now, the only things that survived were poppies and borage. Now there is a foxglove or two, but yeah, the reason for that is we had a council member weed the entire external boundary of the plot. Now I don't agree with this because we have a lot of dog walkers that come and bring their dogs to the plot, walk around. It's just not nice having chemicals that you don't know what they are scattered. Plus this is just a bramble mess, stinging nettles, so I wanted to make it a little bit bee friendly, a little bit nice on the eyes. So yeah, I will try and find an image that I'll upload and show you what I did, but it was only from my start of my plot to the end of my plot. Obviously next year I can do it twice as long because I have twice the plots. So when I am on my plot, I'll have a nice view, hopefully a lot of nice flowers to attract all those bees. It's also nice for people who walk by the back wall, something for them to look at, take pictures of. Yeah, overall just improve this. This is an eyesore. As nice as it is for all the birds, yeah, it'd be nice if it just had a big line of wildflowers across the path. Before I go, I do want to put in a couple of bags of bulbs around my pond. Just dig a few holes, chuck them in. I've noticed they're starting to go a little bit wet in the bag, so I'll get them in now, and in the spring just add a little something to my pond area. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and press that little notification bell so next time I upload you'll be notified. So enjoy your weekend and thank you for watching.